Welcome to the DSQ podcast with Blake Lawson and Dakota Reynolds.
And we're halfway through. We've made it.
We've made it to the midway.
Woohoo. And hopefully this episode, 100% better quality. Because, god damn, that was bad last week. Or 2 weeks. No, yeah, last week. Sorry about that. I did my best in post, but yeah. No, microphone was a little hot. We blame Logan Sargent.
Yeah.
I was like, did I even show up?
Probably not, but that's fine.
Alright, but yes, our first actual off-week show. We keep saying we do them, but every time something comes up.
Off week. We're going to do an off week.
And here we are, we're doing it delayed, but...
Yeah. But still, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
Or either that or we're going to focus somebody in the middle of this, and then we're going to stop it, and then something's going to happen.
Yeah. But... Anyway, so... It's been 12 races. We have 12 more to go. There's a Bon Jovi song. We don't own the rights, so we're not going to do it. That's expensive.
Something about Squidward in a chair.
Yes.
How are we doing, everybody? Let's do a little check-in. How are we all doing?
How's everybody feeling? It's been a week.
It's been a week without racing. Oh my god, I know. But
especially after a triple header and then going into a double and then summer break.
Yeah.
Which it really should have been right now, I feel like, because obviously this is the halfway point. It's too perfect, but it gives Checo 2 weeks to figure out if he's going to be driving the rest of the season. That would lead into a good subject. We're actually going to start with, of course, we're checking in halfway. So where are we? Halfway through.
Where are we? Well...
You ever wonder why we're here, then?
It's one of life's greatest mysteries. R.I.P. Rooster Teeth. I mean, who do we think is in the lead, everybody? If we had to take a guess, take a poll, who's going to be... It's Max Verstappen.
Came in right now.
Max Verstappen's in the lead. 255 points. Hasn't changed position. Hasn't done anything other than extend his lead. Yes, win. He's done some winning. He's done some not so winning, but mostly winning. Second place right now, Lando Norris at 171 points has gained 2 positions from the quarter of the way point. He has 84 points off of Max, and P3 currently is Charles Leclerc with 150. Was P3 the last time we checked in, 21 points off of Lando. I'm going to speed this up just slightly, now that we got the top 3 out of the way. Carlos Sainz sitting in P4, 4 points off of Charles. Oscar Piastri in 5th, 22 points off of Carlos. Both of those have gained a spot since the last time we checked. Checo in P6 has lost 4 places. 4 whole places, sitting in P6. But he's 6 points off of Oscar, so the last race probably didn't help. Probably would have been 3 places, but still. George Russell, oddly enough, hasn't moved.
Huh.
But, to be fair, he's had really, really bad races, and then he won. So, 7 points off of Checo. That sounds really rough for George, actually. Yeah. Lewis Hamilton, P8, which sounds even worse. But he's gained
back,
a spot.
Baby, though.
He's back. Gained a spot. He's 1 point off of George. Fernando Alonso in P9, 65 points off of Lewis, has dropped a spot. Lance Stroll is in 10th. Lance Stroll is in 10th. Lance Stroll is your P10 driver right now. He's 22 points off of Fernando. You know what's even crazier is Nico Hulkenberg is your P11 driver, and he's 1 point off of Stroll. Both of those would gain position. Lance 1 spot and Nico 2. Yuki Tsunoda is in P12, 2 points behind Nico, has lost 2 spots since the quarter-way mark. Danny Rick.
Upgrades.
Yeah, upgrades, baby, upgrades. Speaking of upgrades, Daniel Ricciardo. He's gained a spot.
That's foreshadowing the narrative.
He's gained a spot. He's 9 points off of Yuki. Oliver Behrman, P14. Is higher than he really should be right now, but you know what? That is what it is.
One race.
He is in P14, tied with Pierre, but since there are no ties in Formula 1, he takes P14. He is down 2 positions from earlier, but again, he has not raced since then. So, 5 points off of Danny Rick. Same with Pierre, who has gained 4 spots since the last time we checked in.
You know, to derail, I think even if we added his F2 points to his F1 total, he probably wouldn't have moved. It's not been great.
Yeah, well.
Something great for the two drivers that are foreseen for next season. Well, one is signed for next season. We'll see about the other one.
Yeah. He's going to be in a Haas. I don't know. That Haas
It's not as bad as it used to.
it's not as bad as it used to be. Speaking of the Haas,
Not
Kevin
as bad as it used to be.
P16.
Well, maybe still as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, I was like, he hasn't moved. He's 1 point off of P15/14. Alexander Albon is P17, also 1 point off. Esteban Ocon is P18, down 3 spots from check-in, also 1 spot off. P19, P20, and P21 are Zhou Guanyu, Logan Sargent, and Valtteri Bottas. All their gains and losses really don't matter because they haven't scored any at all throughout this entire season. Halfway in, everybody. Come on, Logie, you got it. Come on, Valtteri.
Hey, he's not in 21st anymore. Hey, he's in 21st now, but he's got to see next season probably.
Oh, yeah. Logan notably has gained a spot. He's no longer in P21 on a 20 car grid, only because he scored higher than Valtteri has ever done in the last race. It was good for him, really good for him. That's the driver standings. On to constructors. Red Bull sitting pretty in first place, 373 points. 255 of those are for Max.
Gee.
Over a third. Ferrari is in P2 with 302 points, which is 71 points off of Red Bull. So not as far as it could be. All it takes is 2 really bad races from Red Bull and two races where Ferrari actually competes. And then, back in it. 150 of those to Charles, 146 of those to Carlos. Ollie has 6. So, you can forget, he drove for Ferrari. So, 6 of those points are actually his. McLaren is sitting in third with 295 points, which is 7 points off of Ferrari. 171 of those go to Lando, 124 to Oscar. Mercedes is sitting at 221, with 110 of them going to Lewis and 111 of them going to George. They're 74 points off of McLaren. Why did I not put the splits on these 4 people?
Because it wasn't worth the time.
That's very odd.
Inconsistencies, folks.
Inconsistencies. Anyways, maybe I meant to and then I just forgot to. Oh well. I mean, I can take quick
number of points.
I can take quick glances over. Aston Martin with 68 points. 153 points is the gap to the Mercedes. It's 68 points for Aston Martin. 45 of those go to Fernando Alonso, and 23 of those to Lance Stroll. Fernando winning that battle so far. Toro Rosso is P6 with 31 points, 37 behind Aston Martin. For that, Yuki has 20 of those points. Danny Rick has 11. Both of those teams are basically back-to-back with the teammates, so that's fun. You know who's not back-to-back is Haas. 7th place with 27 points, 4 points off of Toro Rosso. Nico Hulkenberg is 22 of those points, and Kevin Magnussen is 5. Alpine is P8 with 9 points, 18 points away from the Haas. Alpine is 3 points to Esteban and 6 points to Pierre. Williams is P9 with 4 points, all of them going to Alex, 5 points away from Alpine. And Sauber sitting at 0 in P10.
What's the driver's spin on that?
It's dead even. It's a neck-and-neck race. They're 4 points off from Williams. I also mentioned Andretti, who at this point, I would assume would be at least P10 at this point. Surely one of their drivers, put fucking Jimmy Johnson in the car. Surely he could get to P9, P10, something like that.
If only.
If only.
Buy your ways in. We're rich. Fuck you.
That's the standings. That's where we stand.
Yep. So naturally, and I kind of I have it written down. I think I went a little more in depth, kind of a little bit. But I think we start with, what do the teams need to do for the second half of the season? I kept it on mine. I kept it short, like kind of like one thought, not necessarily a full sentence or just a couple words. But so it's gonna go down in kind of random order. I don't think this is points order. I think it's kind of just however I decided to put them down. So good luck keeping up, because I don't know what order you did. I probably should have done points order. It's pretty close to points order, probably.
I think I copied off of yours though. So is it Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Aston, TR, Haas, Alpine, Williams, Sauber?
Yep,
that is points order.
All right, I did do points order.
Yeah. By the way, I was like, of note, I was like, I didn't put it down. How many places these teams changed in the constructor standings? None of them changed. They're all in the same spot when we were at the quarter of the way point. So that might be why.
Gotcha. All right, so for Red Bull, I kind of just have a slight restructure of just, you guys have been having some performance problems, just get a hold of that. And then you got to figure out Checo. That's the biggest thing. I don't know what that entails. I don't know if that's
I know what that
him.
entails.
I don't know if that's sitting him down and be like, what the fuck, man?
I know what that entails. I said,
help me help you. What do we need, Checo? Like, what do we need to do here?
I said bite the bullet. Let him go. Let him go bring in signs.
And I was like, I think, and obviously doing the halfway point with still 2 races before the big kind of decision, it's kind of a good place to do this episode. It works, but also it's like, that's what this is. Like, he has 2 races. He has this week in Hungary, which is, I can't remember how strong a race it is for Red Bull overall. I think it's pretty good. I know, Lando broke Max's trophy last time, though. That's just Max, so. But yeah, we'll talk. We have a little thing talking about Checo a little bit later when we get to the driver market as well. Ferrari, I have full regroup. Like, you guys just need to just go to the very base level, fix whatever foundation has been fucking you up since Canada. Because, hello cat, that's scratching in the background. You guys are choking this worse than Florida almost choked the games. The Stanley Cup final. Like, I don't know if you guys are just focused so much on next year and the next thing where you're not doing it, or you guys were doing so strong. You got Charles's win in Monaco. Like, just stop and you guys reset. You should do it right now, but if you have to wait till the summer break, do it. Because this is not good. You're going to lose that spot. You're going to further tumble down if you don't figure this out. Like, you guys just need to stop and build from the base up again. I'm not talking about car infrastructure, just like, strategy, but overall, like, how everything works. The strategy, the developments, just like, start. Like, it's bad.
It's bad. You need a better strategy team. I don't know if that means making Carlos a part-time driver, part-time strategist, or what. But, yeah, no. I would say a good 75% of their problems come down to strategy. Fix it. Fix it. Poach a Red Bull strategist.
Give Hannah like $6 million more or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Call it catering. It's fine.
Catering. Do you want me to let him in?
Oh, yeah.
Probably be smart. You can go ahead on the next one.
Sorry. I meant to let my dog in before we started recording. So, behind the curtain. Literally behind the curtain, because I do have a curtain beside the desk. McLaren. I'm going to be a little bit louder here so Blake can still hear. McLaren's got the best car on the grid. I think that's been proven over the last couple weekends. And last couple months. And they don't know what to do with it. More than anything, I think, is their problem. They're not used to having a championship level car.
They're suffering from success.
They are suffering from success. Now, some of this falls on the drivers. I think Lando's definitely a race winner. He's a race winner now, both in mentality and actual numbers. He's not a world champion, both in numbers or mentality yet. So you got to get both Lando and Oscar into that mindset. And, Max doesn't blame necessarily everybody all the time anymore when he finishes whatever he finishes. Lando needs to kind of get to that place and then realize that his mopiness is not going to help him win further past that. Now, McLaren needs to realize that they have a fast car. They need to get the drivers ready. They need to get the pit crews ready. They need to get the strategists ready, as they've proven that they're going down that Ferrari road.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach needs to chill a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna find a way to make this about Carlos every time. And just bring in Carlos to make Lando happier.
Yeah, just as his physio.
His physio.
They all love their physios.
His engineer.
Yeah. Carnando, which tires? Is that your other one? Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't have much for McLaren that you haven't already said. So,
for Mercedes, the improvement's there. They're getting there. Just get consistent. That's all you got to do. Find the consistency. And then my other note is fucking sign Carlos Sainz for next year. Give him a 1-1. Again, we'll get to that here in a second, but that's what you need to do is sign Carlos Sainz.
Sign signs.
Sign Sainz. Nothing to add there?
Nothing to add.
All right. Aston Martin, I just have, quote, be a real team.
Please.
And
for the love of God.
Dash drop Lance. I guess, Lance got P7 this last. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
If you want to improve and get this team where you guys want it to be, I know they're getting results and points, but it's just really, look at how strong they started last year.
Mm-hmm.
And look where they are now. That is that is nowhere near positive rate. That is geared down. So, either, be a real team. You signed Fernando for more driving years as well as in a leadership capacity past that when he retires in 600 years. Don't waste the resource, first of all. Yeah. And, rumors like you might lose Mike Crack. I'm like, you guys have a chance here. It's time to step up a little bit there.
Lawrence, I know you want your son to be a world-class F1 driver. Let me, in my knowledge that I am not one, tell you that Lance Stroll is also not one. There's a lot of improvement he needs. And we saw that back in the F2, F3, whatever days, back in his early Formula days. He's all the time causing shit. And it's not gotten better. He doesn't know how to use a mirror to save his life, or anyone else's for that matter.
Or brakes.
If you are serious about running an F1 team, fire your son. Put someone in that will want to do good and that we know can do good. Or, if you're not serious about running an F1 team, just sell the team to Andretti. Make your money back. And then some.
Yeah. So for Toro Rosso, because they're changing the name, I'm just going to call it Toro Rosso, even though I've been bouncing in between. They're going to change the name again after the season, so screw it, it's not worth it. You change this to Toro Rosso, it's fine. We know it's Red Bull in Italian. Yeah. We know your Red Bull team, which is part of my thing of Helmut said, hey, this is a junior team, so act like it. Develop your drivers. Yuki has developed pretty well. And again, I'm removing my Yuki-ness, my Yuki fanboy from this particular point. We'll get into it in the driver market video, part. Develop your drivers. Danny Rick doesn't need to be developed. So figure out what to do with him. If that's keeping him, if that's getting rid of him, if that's moving him up. We'll get to that part, but develop your car, develop your strategy, get the people ready. If it's gonna be a B team, a junior team, do it.
If
the
not,
way you're sitting right now, you're stagnant in the mid.
Yeah.
Middle of the midfield.
If it's not going to be a B team, find your identity.
Yep. Pick a name. That's not stupid as well.
Nope, that's it for me.
Okay, sorry. Haas. I just have keep up trajectory. You've turned the Haas into something none of us have seen Haas ever.
Yeah. But maybe Gunther was the problem.
What sucks is
it's such a meme, but
yeah,
no, it's not good for racing.
But you guys are doing good. We'll see how the driver goes. You'll have Ollie Behrman. This is where you're going to go. Is you're going to be developing a driver next season, which is why my second note is very important. Do not sign Esteban Ocon for that seat. You will not have Ollie properly prepared if you have Esteban as his teammate.
Or K-Mag for that point. for that matter.
I think K-Mag would still do a better job than Esteban.
He would do a better job than Esteban, but I still don't think he would leave him prepared enough.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about my decisions later on. We'll get to that later.
I was like, a lot of this tie into our kind of driver market thing here in a little bit. We're already at 20 minutes. That's not too bad. I'll kind of speed up a little bit. Alpine, stop what you're doing. Kind of a little bit like how you were with Ferrari, but like completely just burn it all down. Like just stop. You're not working. You've got improvements the couple race. I think that's you guys haven't been improving. I think Aston Martin's been struggling, and then Stake just has made no progress. I think that's the only thing that Alpine has gained is everybody else doing bad. I think you guys have your team is too stretched and scattered and fractured. Hell, go be a customer. Like, go ahead and grab them Mercedes engine. Just restart next year, and if it needs to go, have it in 2026, I guess. But you guys can't continue how you guys are.
You wanna do something crazy, Alpine? You wanna do something crazy that might just work? You already know that you're getting rid of Esteban at the end of this year. You already know that you're gonna have to replace him with somebody. That somebody's probably going to be Jack Doohan. Like, that's the front runner for that seat right now. Throw him in the 2 races before summer break. Just throw him in, see what he does. If he does good, awesome. Then you've got your mind made up and you're ready to go. If he doesn't, well, now you have plenty of time to reconsider and say, hey, maybe Mick deserves a shot at this seat. Hey, maybe this driver deserves a shot at this seat. Hey, maybe we should be looking at drivers from the F2 field that could fill this spot. Throw him in there, see what he does. It's 2 races, and you can always throw Esteban back in there afterwards.
Yeah, Alpine is like, well, yeah. You got to do something. You guys have to do something. Like, it's big, bold move time.
Let's go gambling.
Big move. Yep. Williams, speaking of that tiny little thing, overcome that little hump. Like, they are there. Like, I feel like they are just, like, so close. Like the Maple Leafs in getting past the first round of the playoffs. Except they're actually closer than the Maple Leafs are. Like, the Maple Leafs are close, but Williams, you're so close to getting there. Like, there's just that tiny little bit. There's still a little bit of unreliability. I know part of that's Logan. I know it. I accept it. It still sucks. But we know everybody knows Logan's not racing in F1 next year, so.
He finished P12 last race. If he's starting to get up there, y'all are right there.
Yeah.
You're so close to greatness.
So, just
please.
figure out what that is. James, you can do it. You guys aren't that backmarker team anymore. You're past the Latifi days. Anything to add for your team? And last, and certainly last, Kick Salver. Also, same thing, and this kind of is what you're already doing. And there's a kind of a conspiracy I saw, which may go into this, is like, you guys are worthless. You guys just need to start over, which you guys are with Audi. So it makes sense that if you guys sandbag all the way down the bottom, you get so much more aero time. For Audi, who's also an external manufacturer right now, so doesn't really necessarily have to play in some of those rules. So it makes sense how they're doing so bad. Valtteri deserves better. Zhou deserves better. I think we'll see Valtteri next year. I don't think we see Zhou next year, which kind of sucks. It was like he was kind of stuck with this team.
Change one of my things for here in a minute, but yeah.
Well, maybe someone did see Zhou in this game.
No.
But yeah, so that was kind of the quick rundown. Do you have anything more for Sauber? Is that what you're writing down?
No. Mine's for the driver market. So.
Gotcha. Yep. I mean, I feel like each team just has something. Obviously, every team can improve. I mean, top of the field needs to learn how to be better with their cars and develop better. Lower end needs to figure out what they're doing. Jack doing. All right. So, would you like to do the driver market or the Checo replacements section?
I don't know that I would necessarily have a whole lot for the Checo replacement section. I was like, I have one set replacement for Checo, so.
Because we'll do driver market and then we'll have Checo as a sidebar.
Okay.
So how I did it is I have everybody who is basically, which includes Checo in the seat because right now he still has his contract.
Mm.
So I'm going to skip over that. I mean, Red Bull, Max and Checo, McLaren, Lando and Oscar, Ferrari, Lewis and Charles, Aston, Alonso and Lance. And that's our only double teams that are set. So for open, obviously we have McLaren. With George, I have Carlos Sainz. Because, of course, I have Carlos Sainz. It makes no sense that Carlos is not already signed to a Mercedes for... Like, you need to give him a 1-1. At least. Like, give him the 1 year to help get through this season. Let Kimi develop in Formula 2. He won... I do have a correction from last week. I said Ollie won the sprint. Ollie did not win the sprint. Kimi won the sprint. So, that was his first win of the season. So,
and they're hyping him up.
Yes, I get you guys. Toto wants his max.
Yeah,
he wants max, and he knows he probably can't get max, so he wants his own max.
Yep.
Or Fernando, because that's more the comparison everybody gives Antonelli. But don't. Mercedes is just now, within the last two races, more solidly of an argument that Mercedes is back, and is a contender. So putting in a junior driver is not your best move. Get Carlos. He knows how to drive a car. He knows strategy. He knows the racecraft. Get him at least 1 year in this new car, or 1 year in the current spec, and help him with your new engine in 2026, or new regs in 2026. This is the biggest no-brainer signing to me, and it's infuriatingly just that it hasn't happened yet. Like, this is dumb. Like, sign Carlos. This is so stupid. You're not getting max. Let Kimi develop like he should. Like, even Ollie, I think Ollie still needs to develop a little bit, but he's already had a full season F2. He's done his F1 race, and he did well. He's still in points.
He got the points
in a Ferrari, which clearly is actually not that good of a car.
Yeah,
apparently. So yeah, again, it's just so frustrating. Just give Carlos the Mercedes second seat, or give it to Mick. I don't care at this point.
Which will lead into mine for Mercedes. I was like, I full on went with either Mick, or if you can't have Mick, and assuming that Carlos goes the direction that I think he should go, have Kimi as your backup. I was like, I don't think that he should necessarily go in yet, but you already have a driver that had some F1 experience. It wasn't the greatest F1 experience. It wasn't with the greatest team. It wasn't in the greatest environment. But he's got F1 experience. He knows how the cars somewhat behave. Give him a shot to develop in the Mercedes further. He's had some years outside of this to work on his racecraft as it is. Throw him in, give him a shot, see what he can do. For whatever reason that doesn't work out, you can't get Mick, and Carlos is already in a different place in my look of things. Fucking put Kimi in, I guess. But I wouldn't put him as the number one for that.
Like, give him another year. Get the new regs in. Throw him into Williams. Let him do the George Russell path. It's worked, mostly. So do you have Carlos as well in the second? Or no, you have Mick in the second. Firstly.
Oh, the second seat? Yeah. So I have, it's George and Mick, or if Mick doesn't work out, George and Kimi for Mercedes.
Cool. Down there, next one I have is Toro Rosso. Of course, Yuki Tsunoda, my boy, has a seat for next year. Again, we'll get to it with Checo. I promise. My second one is Liam. I don't think you have a reason to not give him a seat anymore.
Yeah.
Or say, oh, what he hasn't done anything this year. He hasn't started this year. But I don't know. And I think he's got that same clause of like he's got to get a seat, so let's lose it. That being said, I don't think, and this again goes leading into the Checo after this, I don't think he goes straight into the Red Bull seat. I think he does his time in Toro Rosso. He did good. Yeah, it's Liam's seat. It really is.
Yeah. I was like, I definitely said Liam as my first pick for it. I didn't do 2 picks on everybody, but I did 2 picks for a few of them because it makes sense too. Definitely said Liam as the first opportunity. I was like, the kid can drive. He can do what needs to be done. He hasn't had the chance to do anything this year because he hasn't had the chance to do anything this year. Daniel has, though, and hasn't done much of anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Liam. And if, for whatever reason, Liam's not an option and somehow Checo is, smoke Checo down and go from there.
Yeah, it's another one of those no-brainers. Like, yeah, I think Liam really... This season, I get it. I mean, we've had no driver change year to year on this one, and we're going into the we're midway through going into the summer break with no driver changes. So I get when they stick, but again, it's Liam's seat. It really is.
Yeah.
From Alpine, of course, Pierre's sitting there. I honestly wish Pierre wasn't, because I think Pierre deserves a better car.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
But we got Pierre at Alpine. I have Jack/Mick, because I think that's what is good. I mean, let them compete, I guess, for it. I think Jack. I mean, I'd love to see Mick in again. I think Jack definitely deserves a real shot at it. I'll miss him on F1 TV coverage, but
oh, he'll just cover it from the car.
yeah, and his apartment. God, they did not stay out of his apartment during the Monaco coverage.
I'd straight up just say Jack. Just put Jack in. Have Mick as a couple of different options, but have Jack in. Give him the shot that he deserves.
Yep.
I was like, if it doesn't work out, cool. You got other options, but put Jack in that seat. That seat to me is his.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. It was like, I think we'll see him in another free practice this season, and then who knows? I mean, not Pierre. Esteban wants to pull some more shit. I'm sure Bruno's like, he's here every race. He will hop right in and not even blink.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's part of the point. Williams, of course, we have Alex. And again, we know Logan's not coming back. Unless he does some, like, miracle shit.
I mean, yeah. Just starts going on a points run.
Like, gets a podium for the remaining 12 races. I think is the only thing that can save his F1.
I mean, I don't think that far, but I think a singular podium would probably save him, and it not be a
Spa.
16 other cars fucking crashed out. I think a podium would 100% save him. I think that maybe 4 8th place or higher finishes would also save him.
Yeah.
But that's saying a lot. So
my second driver for Williams, and this is the only one I have where there's not a number 1 and number 2 driver, is Valtteri. Send him back home, because I don't think anywhere else would work for him.
This is
it's a downgrade. Well, I don't know if it's not a downgrade.
I don't think it's a downgrade.
Yeah, sorry, it is definitely an upgrade from current, but
this is one of the 2 that I swapped a second ago, because I originally had Logan retaining this seat, but I was like, probably not. It's probably not going to end up happening. So,
I mean, I would gladly be wrong for that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Love to see him given one more chance, but I sincerely doubt it. Yeah, Valtteri. Put Valtteri in the seat. Put him where he first started. See what he can do. I think technically he would still be second driver just based off of performance for the past couple of years. Which, I mean, to be fair, he hasn't been in a great car, but still, I was like, based off of performance alone, I think Alex would technically be the first driver out of that. And then have Mick as the backup. Mick is the backup at 3 teams at this point, which is actually how it is. He is the backup at 3 teams. It's just, one of the 2.
But I feel like Alex and Valtteri together, that's a points every game. That's a points every race.
Yeah.
Team.
Put Valtteri back in the Williams.
I feel like 100%.
You have points every race. Yeah.
So Saudi and Audi.
Saudi and Audi.
Saudi, Audi. I mean, given the money.
All right, follow the money.
Of course, I have driver 1 as Nico already signed a good. I mean, I see it. It makes sense. A good seasoned driver. Get your kind of your 1 transition year. I don't know what next year's. Next year's gonna be super weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to expect from this team next year. I have Esteban because it was the only spot I had open at the end of this. It was that or he doesn't have a seat, and honestly, I still kind of think Esteban doesn't get a seat, but kind of where everything gets out. Again, of the remainder, the other one's Haas. He's not going to be good for helping Behrman develop, so he goes there. He's a driver, gets some experience in there. Him and Nico, you'll be fine. I think Nico will be so far ahead, it's not going to be that big of a problem. But
so, this is the other one that I swapped a second ago. I don't want to say it, but I was like, I'll let my American bias show a little bit. Let's put Logan in the Sauber, because how bad can it be? You've got the one really good driver that's shown that he can be really good. That if he wasn't driving a Haas, he could probably be on the podium, but he's driving a Haas, so he's in P6. Logan needs experience. He does, because you can hear him starting to work out the things that he's doing wrong. He's learning. He's at least trying to learn. That's more than can be said about some drivers that are on the fucking grid. Lance fucking Stroll. But he's learning.
We're never getting Aston Martin now.
Oh no, the horror, not the fucking Saudi money team. Yeah. No. Give him a shot at. Yes, it would be a downgrade for him because he's dropping from Williams to go to the team that is currently P0, but it will be a new team. It will not be just the current Sauber mess. It will be Audi. Let him try to develop there. If he can't do anything, give him a 1 year. And if he can't do anything with 1 year, kick him to the curb. And that's my final on him. I was like, give him a shot. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I do have a couple more additions to...
I was like, Sauber seems like the catch-all team. Like, everybody was joking, like, oh, Williams is going to have 8 drivers next year. I think it's more Saudi. I was going to call it Saudi. Fuck it.
Hey, that's the...
Let's call them STC Sauber for next year and then go to Aldi. STC is Saudi Telecom, by the way, boys and girls. There's your lesson today in Middle Eastern telecom services. If you've seen the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, you know this.
I had a couple more. I think in the Haas, I went bold with this, and I kind of regret it, but also at the same time I don't. I don't think that K-Mag has a seat next year.
No.
I think looking at his last few races, and probably at the last, since the quarter mark, it hasn't been great. But again, how much worse can it be to put Joe in the seat? I was like, if he goes the rest of this season, doesn't even come close to scoring points, scratch that idea entirely and pull a name from a hat at that point. Just hold a contest in the U.S. Be like, here, put your name in, you win, all right, you're the driver for the team. But I want to see Joe in the sport, because when he first came in, I didn't know how I felt about him, because he was 100% a pay driver. It was, this guy is going to give the team a whole lot of money for them to work with and not do much good. And then the races happened, and he actually did okay. Like, he wasn't the best driver in the world. He's no Lewis Hamilton. But, like, he could be Pierre Gasly, I guess, if he was in anything that was decent.
Yeah, is both Alpine pay drivers?
I don't know. Well, I was like, one of them I don't think is. Well, unless it's sponsorship, I guess. But, yeah. I don't know.
Think about neither of them are, or both of them are.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay.
But yeah, no. Joe, give him a shot in that seat, and then Red Bull.
I was like, let me go through Haas real fast. I didn't do my Haas yet.
Okay.
Because I think this plays into this. It's part of, I think he'd be good at it, and part of, I didn't really have another spot for him. But again, I think Ollie's the one who signed, Ollie's the future, so that's who I'm planning on with Haas. I think it's where Daniel goes.
I could see that.
Because I think Daniel is still competitive enough to have a competitive car with him, but also a good enough to help develop Ollie as a driver in the sport.
Yeah, I can see that.
Again, unfortunately, I would love to see Joe in still. I think Joe didn't have a good car to prove himself. I think he has the potential there. But I don't think Joe would help Ollie develop. So that's kind of my thing, is Haas's second driver is to help Ollie, and that's all it is in my point and my brain at this point. Because that's what Ferrari's paying, quote, them to do that at this point. Like, Haas is kind of being the junior.
The Toro Rosso of Ferrari.
It's like, there's 3 tiers of it. There's direct junior team with Toro Rosso. There's pretty much junior team with Williams and Merck. And then there's assumed with Haas and Ferrari. But yeah, so I know that leaves... I was like, again, I guess leaving into Checo here. I was like,
Yeah, I mean, mine directly leads into Checo, so.
Yeah. Now
Drop
Checo.
Drop him. I know we're halfway into the season, and there's still a lot of season to go, and he could have a miraculous comeback, but he's inconsistent as fuck. Like, sure, he's had the couple of...
I think there's a Checo shirt hanging up right next to us.
We can burn
That's
it.
the reason.
No.
That's the reason he's still here, because there's a Checo shirt sitting right next to us.
Yeah. I was like, I know he's just there for the merch. It's just for the merch sales. I don't care. You're not going to be getting second place in the Drivers' Championship. Hell, you might not be getting first place in the Constructors' Championship. My bullshit earlier this year about Ferrari finishing P1 and Red Bull finishing P2 might actually come true because your second driver can't get his act together. I think you should drop him. I'm going to let you go. I'm assuming, have all of the possible...
Yes.
Okay. I don't think mine's a secret. I think I've sort of let it fly earlier, but I would say let's go ahead and go through all of them, and then who we personally think should be in that seat next year.
So I have the four drivers, 3 in the system, 1 not. So I have replacement time of like either mid-season or next season. I have a 1 to 10 scale. I have a do they deserve it, and I have just a general note section on it. I was in depth on this one.
Fair enough.
First one, my boy Yuki. Now, I hid my bias in the what they need to improve and all that. Let me go here. I think Yuki's proven pretty damn well he can drive a Formula 1 car at this point. On his likeliness, I put a 4 out of 10. Because I don't think it's happened because Red Bull has made it clear that they don't necessarily want him to do it.
Yeah.
Does he deserve it? Absolutely he does.
Yes, I agree. As not the Yuki fan of the group, I'm not saying that I don't cheer for him, but I was like, I think he deserves it.
Yeah. Why not at this point? I feel like you're overlooking him, which I know, height-wise, it's easy to do, but that's not an excuse. So it sucks. He is the lowest of the probability, but I think he's the most deserved of them.
Yes, absolutely.
Up next, and so that I have him as a mid-season replacement. Also to mid. Everybody's a mid besides the last one.
Okay.
Because he's currently driving for another team.
Okay.
Next is Danny Rick. I have him as a 7 out of 10 likely replace. I feel like it's going to happen if it happens. I don't think Danny put up the numbers. He's been... And that's one thing that really got pointed out over the last couple races. Like, oh, we're at 10 years of Daniel Ricciardo driving. He's got some races, and I love Daniel Ricciardo. He's fun, he's shoey, he's happy. And I think he'd be good to help develop the young drivers. But he's not putting the numbers up. And I don't want to, Jacques Villeneuve being a dick about it. But I get that after the Red Bull thing, his confidence was crushed and toiling away as the very much second driver in Orlando for a couple of years and all that. But he hasn't really, and I get, last year he came in half and he broke his wrist. I'm like, how many excuses do you get at this point?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it happens. I love you, Danny Rick, but I don't think you deserve this next seat. Why would you want to go back to being second to Max too?
Yeah, I was like, that's not a great place to be, and that's why you wanted to... Oh, hello, Wikipedia. Wikipedia has a dark mode, by the way.
They do.
So that everyone knows.
This episode's sponsor, Wikipedia Dark now. I wish.
Wikipedia doesn't have any
for
money.
Just $2, yeah. It's like for $2 you can donate to Wikipedia to give to us for sponsorship money. So we can buy a new microphone set I have on my cart. So we can avoid last week. I have Liam also as a mid-season replacement. I have him middle of the road for 5. Again, he deserves it. I mean, I feel like he deserves a seat. I don't understand him jumping, though. I don't think we've had the data. I think we have enough data to prove, yes, he belongs, he dissolves. He dissolves in water. He is solvable. He deserves a seat in F1, but I don't think he should jump the hierarchy here. Like I said, he does phenomenal at Toro Rosso. You guys have done it before. Swap that shit out. And then my 9 out of 10 replacement, somehow. Even though I don't think it would happen, and this is not a mid-season, this is next season replacement, is Carlos Sainz. Because he's a good driver. He would do better than Checo, I think. I think the only reason that people are like, oh, they're not going to do it is, oh, they're Joss and Carlos Sainz Sr. butt heads. Who gives a shit? These are adult fucking
They don't work for the
adult
team.
drivers. Don't let them in the paddock. They can go sit in their respective corners and race in their 20-year-old cars or on fire cars or whoever. Like, does Carlos deserve it? Absolutely. Carlos deserves a top tier seat next season. Too.
Absolutely, he does. And that too, I've selected to replace Checo as well as Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
I was like, he's more than proven that he has the ability to help strategize, the ability to drive the fucking car, even when the car is a piece of shit, and shows that he has racecraft, shows that he has pace. I don't see why not. I was like, God, like the dads, who cares?
Yeah.
Who
These are
the
adult.
fuck cares?
These are adult drivers. These are adult people. I don't care if their dads were legendary. Well, a fairly decent rally car driver and then an F1 driver.
If my dad came to my job and starting shit, they'd kick him out and ban him. Just fucking do that.
Yeah.
You have billions of dollars at your disposal. Surely you can pay someone to keep tabs on where they are at all times and make sure they don't get anywhere near the fucking paddock.
You should already be doing this with Joss.
You should already be doing this.
But yeah,
I did want to include in notes, by the way, you mentioned that we are approaching a decade of Danny Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Fernando Alonso, at this point, has already won 2 championships. He started in 01 and won his championships in 05 and 06. So, yeah, no, he's had plenty of opportunity. And we still say that Fernando's a great driver.
yeah. I mean, we're prepared for this. We can look up the Ricardo versus Alonso numbers, and I'm pretty sure Alonso's going to win that
Oh, yeah, no,
category. So.
absolutely. But Alonso, no.
But yeah. Put Alonso in every seat. Let's just clone him.
Yes!
The Formula 1.
Fernando.
Fernando 1. Formula Alonso. Alright. We weren't going to check in. Obviously, we have our blind predictions from the start. I think we're just going to do that at the end of the season. Tally up our points from there. But yeah, that's the mid-season. We'll see what happens. I hope someone listens to this and they honestly... Of everything, like, yes, I want Kimi to wait and I want Carlos to get a seat. The one thing to listen to me, do not put Ocon next to Ollie, please.
Yeah, no, that needs to be top priority.
Priority
of
number
all of
1.
this. Priority number 1, SD needs to go not next to Ollie. He can go any other team.
Add an 11th, add 2 teams. 1, Andretti to be competitive. 2, just backmarker the team. And
Esteban and Lance.
And don't give them a cost cap. Just let them do them. Because they'll need everybody else has to go in the cost cap. You guys just, for repairing the car, you have unlimited. But yeah. And bring Seb back.
Bring Seb back.
Okay,
Put him on Andretti.
That's an overarching to any seed is Seb. Seb is number 1 on any chart, but implied. All right, we're recording this on Monday, and you can hear my voice is starting to give out. I'm on medicine. That's kept me going along this long. So that's wrap for our mid-season. We will be back actually with less than a week because it's Hungaro. It's Ross week.
It's Ross week. What's the 3/4 mark?
Probably fall break.
Yeah.
Is it Coda? I think it's Coda.
It's between Singapore and Austin.
Okay.
So yeah, fall break. So at fall break,
Yep.
We'll check in again. I was like, obviously we'll have the normal podcasts as per usual, but fall break we'll check in again.
Of course,
see where everyone's shifted around. See what the driver market looks like at that point.
Yeah, I think we're 2 weeks away from it. We're gonna see one Instagram video of someone sitting down in the chair.
Oh no!
And it's gonna go fucking crazy, or than it already is.
I was like, with the way that fucking Esteban's driving, Pierre could be dead by then.
Yeah. Oh man. Hey, that being said, yesterday was 6 hours of Sao Paulo. Ladies and gentlemen, Alpine finished both cars. Woo! They didn't. They realized the E was for endurance and not exploding the engine. And they finished the 6-hour race. They finished a quarter of Le Mans. So, sweet. You guys did it. Congratulations. You didn't kill Mick. Happy. I'm proud of you guys. That way you can race for us next year. Yeah, so 2 doubleheader here into the summer break. We'll do probably a couple episodes here in summer break talking about, I mean, if anything happens, which probably at this point is bound to. It's a collision course. Maybe talk about, I have some stuff prepped on Kimi, talking about Kimi a little bit, because we talked about him a little bit today, of kind of what his numbers in comparison to some of the others looking like. I want to do that episode, and yeah, we're bound to get at least staff changes, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I know Ferrari's got to sign an aero guy here, and it's not going to be Adrian Newey, apparently, so we'll see who that is. But.
Well, shucks.
He's shopping in Oxfordshire, which is home of like 6 teams. Thanks. Thanks, Top Gear guy. I can't remember which one that is. Which one? The main one. Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's like you got May, you got fucking Clarkson, you got Hammond.
Yeah.
Right.
And there goes the notebook. That's it. That's how we're ending it. The notebook flying. The notebook is done with the episode. My water bottle's empty. That's it. We're done. My voice is done. The AC is off and it's like 90 degrees, so.
That's a wrap!
Yep.
Follow the pod everywhere at DSQ Pod. And follow the crew at Medic50 and at Golu Cody 30.